The 1992 WIAA Football Championships are made possible in part by a grant from the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association.
The following is a sports special presentation from Wisconsin Public Television.
From Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Division IV State Football Championship game between the Baldwin-Woodville Hawks and the Mayville Cardinals. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay Wilson, along with Bill Bartholomew, the head football coach at Milwaukee South High School. Looking forward to the Division IV State Championship game on a very cool afternoon here at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. Bill, when we look at the two teams, as is so often the case in a state tournament competition like this, you have some great running backs usually, and that is the case again today. First, Baldwin-Woodville, number 41, Chad Veenendahl.
Chad Veenendahl, very quick. He's not a real big kid, but he has been able to gain close to 1,200 yards, 1,141 yards. He fits very well into the quick pitch out of the I formation, and they also run some isolation and quick power plays. You're going to see Baldwin-Woodville as a very quick team. They'll throw the ball when they have to. You're going to see a size versus quickness today.
Yeah, Veenendahl with over 2,600 yards rushing in his career. And for Mayville, their big gun is number 32, Scott Hilber, one of many weapons, really, for Mayville.
Scott Hilber, the coach's son, has done an amazing job. We're talking 1,400 yards in 239 carries. He's the workhorse. So they have rushed for over 500 times, and he's done almost half of that. So you're looking at he is the key person in that running attack. With the size that they have up front, and there's 20 people returning from a team that were runner-up last year, you're looking to have a very, very interesting running game today.
Also, two schools, Baldwin-Woodville and Mayville, with a great tradition of high school
Great
football.
traditions. Baldwin-Woodville was Division III runner-ups in 81. In 1987, they won the Division IV crown. They have a great tradition. They have really controlled the Middle Border Conference. Mayville, on the other hand, going back to the late Jack Omer, who established the tradition, and Alex has continued with that. Alex, of course, won a state championship in Cassville and was runner-up last year. So, yes, you have two great traditions and two programs that are coming to match here in the finals. I think it's going to be a great football game.
Traditions that will, of course, continue again today here in the state finals. Coming up, the kickoff of the Division IV championship game, Mayville and Baldwin-Woodville. And now this word from our statewide sponsors, Marshfield Clinic and the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Jay Wilson and Bill Bartholomew with you at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. Well, the snow and the rain of earlier this morning has stopped, but it's now, the wind is freshening a bit out of the north end. The temperatures are going down just a little bit, but at least the field appears to be in pretty good shape. May have a little bit of wetness in it, but still not too bad for a state championship game.
When are they going to bring the dome over the top? Is that going to start pretty soon?
Well, you'll be the first to know if you know the answer to that one. There's Wade Lebecki, the head coach at Baldwin-Woodville, his fifth year. Played in a state championship game himself at Milwaukee Thomas More High School. That team, 1981, won the WISA State Football Championship. And now the Hawks huddle around their coach, Wade Lebecki, and the Mayville Cardinals being introduced. Mayville will be wearing the dark-colored uniforms, the red uniforms with the white lettering, and Baldwin-Woodville will be in the white letters. In Division IV for the playoffs, in Level 1, Baldwin-Woodville beat Unity 27-7. Then Baldwin-Woodville beat Northwestern 28-14. Then last week, Baldwin-Woodville over Viroqua 27-6 to advance to today's Division IV state championship game. Meanwhile, Mayville beat Reedsville 31-3, and they followed that with a 21-7 win over Algoma and a big 31-14 win over Columbus last Saturday in Beaver Dam. And Bill, Mayville, of course, was in the state championship game last year. They lost in overtime. What kind of an effect, either positive or negative, could that have on them today?
I think there's a tremendous advantage given to a group of young men who have been up here the year before and have played. playing in this stadium is kind of awesome. And I think there's a distinct advantage, at least in the first half, to the team that's been on that field and has played before. Baldwin-Woodville, although their program has been up here before, these players haven't been up here so far. So they might be a little bit tight.
Alex Hilber is the Mayville head coach, his 8th year with the Cardinals. Before that, 8 years at Cassville. He, too, head coach of a state championship team, the 1982 state champions in Cassville. And then Hilber moved on to some very successful years at Mayville. We talked about it in the open, the great football success of both of these teams. The coin toss has been completed, and Mayville will be kicking off to Baldwin-Woodville to start this Division IV championship game. Speed versus size, this one, Bill.
It'll be interesting to see what the game plan is for Baldwin-Woodville as they attempt to attack a much larger team and use their quickness to take advantage of possibly not as quick individuals on the Mayville team.
Chad Vienendahl is back to receive the kick for Baldwin-Woodville. The kick of Colin Gassner. It goes through Vienendahl and through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. So Baldwin-Woodville will start from their own 20-yard line. The starting lineups for Baldwin-Woodville: Feedy, Leitner, Ferg, McKeever, Peavy, Corrigan, and Nadu. And some very talented backfield performers. The Vienendahls are cousins, by the way. And their quarterback, Craig Butler, not afraid to throw the ball. He's had a pretty good season passing the football. And there you see number 5, Craig Butler. 1st and 10, Baldwin-Woodville. Their first offensive possession of the game. They'll give it to Vienendahl, and he'll wiggle his way out to the 23 for a gain of 3. Chad Vienendahl for 3.
Off-tackle power play. They'll run an isolation series, or basically they're trying to isolate either a defensive end or a linebacker, and they're going to come right at him.
The defensive set for Mayville. And the backfield, Jeremy Schroffnagel, one of their fine defenders, and Dan Decker, who is a very versatile player both on offense and defense. 2nd and 7 at the 23. Butler throwing off the hands of Mike Feedy, incomplete. That'll set up 3rd down.
In talking to Coach Lebecki early in the week, he mentioned that they will be throwing on 1st and 2nd down, try to keep the Mayville defense a little loosened up to allow them to run the football a little bit better.
And Lebecki says that, you know, it appears that they're basically a running team, and they are, but he's not afraid to throw when it's there, and
exactly.
They'll take advantage
of it.
Sure. 3rd and 7. Butler back to throw again. To the sideline, it's going to be complete to Tim Gilbertson. And that'll be a 1st down for Baldwin-Woodville. Tim Gilbertson, he'll rotate plays. He and Dustin Vienendahl come in from the sidelines to bring in the plays to the quarterback. And that time, Gilbertson hooks up for a completion and a 1st down. 1st and 10 at the 32. This time Butler gives it to Jason Sell, the sophomore, and he'll get about 6 across the 35-yard line. Jason Sell, for a sophomore, does a lot of nice things for Baldwin-Woodville.
200 pounds, 5'11", and he's basically the biggest kid on the squad at fullback. So yeah, he's done an excellent job, both offensively and defensively, according to the coaching staff.
No score, 11 minutes remaining, 1st quarter. 2nd and 5 at the 37. It's Sell again. About 2 yards short of the 1st down as he gets out to the 40-yard line. Schroffnagel there to help make the tackle for Mayville.
Baldwin-Woodville has an 180-pound line, and they're doing a lot of angle blocking, and they will also do some trapping, as they did on that play there, trying to keep the larger Mayville defensive line guessing as to what's happening.
The ball right on the 40-yard line for a 3rd and 2 for Baldwin-Woodville. And this time they'll give it to Vienendahl, and he's going to be very close. Chad Vienendahl right on that 42-yard line, which is where he needed to get to the 1st down, and they're going to measure.
they've been coming up with the good play on first down to be able to give them a good second and short or second and medium situation, which is pretty much what they feel that they have to do. They've got to get some good yardage on first down to allow them to get into their game plan. They're keeping their flanker to the short side of the field and trying to work the left side of the defensive line, or right side of the defensive line for Mayville. It'll be interesting to see.
Big play early, 4th and inches for Baldwin-Woodville at their own 42-yard line. And it's Sell, and he's got the first down. Didn't get much, but enough to get the first down.
Good surge by the Baldwin line.
Well, that's a pretty good call. Even, you know, obviously it's early and everything, but you know, they've moved the ball 20 yards already, and
well,
you figure to make a couple inches.
They want to keep the ball. They want to keep the ball away from Mayville, without question. Controlling the ball, both coaches felt, was a key to winning today.
1st and 10 for the Hawks at the 43. Butler still has it, turns it up across midfield to the 45. Nice play by Craig Butler, the 6-foot, 150-pound senior.
In the basic offense that Baldwin-Woodville uses option, including the ISO option, where they'll fake the isolation play and then come outside. That time they just faked a dive and came up, and it was a keeper all the way. But this will be an important part of their attack.
Another first down for Baldwin-Woodville as they're marching. The give to Vienendahl, and he's stacked up inside.
That was an example of the isolation play, trying to run inside at the linebackers. There's some pretty good size in that Mayville front between those tackles, and I think they just wanted to test it and see what it was like.
Jeremy Boudon leading the charge for Mayville. He wears number 36. Gain of 1 on the play as we hit the 9-minute mark of the first quarter. Still no score, but Baldwin-Woodville moving the ball very nicely on the first possession of the game. In motion is Dustin Vienendahl. Butler still has it, and he's throwing deep and just over the outstretched hands of number 81, Brian Nadeau. Well, you can see
a nice action pass.
Yeah, Baldwin's going to keep you guessing all day,
exactly.
I guess, huh?
They faked the counter tray to the left. He rolled out. Nice protection. He was open. He just didn't hit him. Nice play selection. 3rd and long.
3rd and 9 to be exact at the 44. Butler back to throw again. A little hook pattern, and it's Nadeau complete, and I believe that's enough for a first down.
Excellent execution again. Nadeau knew what he needed for the first down, got there, and hit the zone.
You'll see Nadeau just make a little hook right at the first down marker, and a good play on his part to know where that first down line is. And that little stretch, I guess, got him the first down.
Getting in the seam between the outside, between the inside backer and the cornerback.
1st and 10, Baldwin-Woodville at the 35 of Mayville. Sell gets it inside. Little 3-yard gain for Jason Sell.
Their offense is attacking various different places. They're attacking inside. They're attacking off tackle. They've gone with the option. They've thrown the ball. Now Mayville's got to determine exactly what they want to do in terms of their calls. Mayville's playing a cover 3 zone defense.
2nd and 3 for the Hawks. Butler still has it, and he has tackled Ryan Colleen in on the stop, as well as number 32, Scott Hilbert. And that'll set up a 3rd down.
That time, both the pitchback and the quarterback were taken care of. The last time they ran the option, of course, no one took the quarterback and allowed the quarterback to run quite freely.
Another 3rd down play for Baldwin-Woodville. They've been able to convert these, most of them at least, and Butler looks to throw. And just in bounds and a completion on the far side. That is Dustin Veenendahl. Well, they've run that play twice now, and both times it's worked where the receiver really does a nice job of staying in bounds.
They're doing a nice job on that. You've got to be able to contain that end to be able to allow that, and they must have executed this many, many times because they're doing a great job of it. Taking advantage of the cushion that the cornerback's giving them and getting that first down yardage.
Well, defense has been the strength of Mayville, one of the many strengths of Mayville all year long, and it's getting a severe test right now. 1st and 10 at the 22. And another pass. They're going deep over the head and out of bounds, looking for Tim Gilbertson along the far sideline. 2nd and 10.
First time they've thrown on first down. They're again keeping the Mayville defense off guard, letting them guess in terms of what they're going to do on first down, run or throw, and that becomes a very important part of your defensive strategy.
On this drive that started at the 20, 12 runs and 6 passing plays for Baldwin-Woodville. They have the ball at the 22, 2nd and 10. Butler pumps once, over the middle, tip, intercepted. Number 11 is Kyle Gassner.
Nice job by the defense. Free safety being where he's supposed to be, picked off that tip. Passes a little bit high.
And a Mayville defender will come over the top here. It's number 32. That's Hilber, and that really helped create the tip.
He was well covered.
Yeah.
He was well covered.
And so Kyle Gassner intercepts the pass, and he will get under center now as he is the Mayville quarterback. 1st and 10 for Mayville, their first play of the 1992 state championship game. The handoff to Scott Hilber. We'll be saying that a lot today. And a short gain just across the 10.
Fullback belly play, which is a basic part of the wing tee offense, along with the buck trap and the buck sweep. With the kind of ground game that they've had all year, they're going to stick right with it. And we're going to see a lot of that through the course of the afternoon.
Gain of 2 for Hilber. 2nd and 8 at the 11-yard line. 6:22 left first quarter, no score. Here comes Brian Klieger, but he's tackled in the backfield. Veenendahl and Bart Koyman with the tackles. Here's the Mayville offense. Dave Lobbs and Jeremy Schroffnagel, as well as Ryan Colleen, that whole right side of the line. Very huge. Dave Lobbs weighing in at 315 pounds. Look for Mayville to go to the right side quite a bit today. And a very talented backfield led by Kyle Gassner, who, of course, was Mayville's quarterback in last year's state championship game. 3rd and 12 for Mayville. And they'll hand it off inside to Klieger again. This time he gets outside and fumbles the football, and Baldwin-Woodville has it inside the 15-yard line.
That was a very nice execution of the inside counter by Mayville. But Baldwin-Woodville is using one of the key strategies to stop the wing tee offense, and that's penetration. And that.
For our local commercial stations along the line, it is time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Well, just when Mayville comes up with a defensive stop, they look like they're, they look like they were going to be in a punting situation, but the worst of all possible things, a fumble recovery by Baldwin-Woodville's number 75, Jeff Mentick, and Baldwin-Woodville in great shape.
You see the penetration here by the right defensive tackle. Again, we got penetration. And just a great tackle.
That's Tim Gilbertson, number 21.
Tim Gilbertson put his helmet right on the ball, and that's what you're coached to do.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Okay, 5:39 remaining first quarter. We are scoreless, but Baldwin-Woodville is knocking on the door at the 14-yard line.
Mayville has got to be able to set themselves now and try to stop a score at this. It's important that Mayville is able to stop Baldwin right now, because they've done an excellent job, a nice drive. They've taken the ball back on an exchange. This could be a real key part of this first half of the ball game.
Baldwin-Woodville, the champions of the Middle Border Conference, a 6-0 record in conference. 11-1 in the season. Their only loss to New Richmond. Here we go with Veenendahl getting the handoff, and he gets down to about the 10-yard line. Check that. I'm wrong. Their only loss was to Rice Lake early in the season. That's right, because that was a game they committed a lot of turnovers, and their coach Wade Lebecki said at that point, he just said, you know, we just can't do these turnovers anymore, and they don't have turnovers anymore. How does that happen?
Turnovers are, that's the ratio of turnovers between you and your opponent is going to determine whether or not you're going to be successful.
The pitch to Chad Veenendahl, and he's stacked up. Hilber is there, number 32, as well as Ryan Colleen, number 80, to stop it for Mayville, and it's third down.
Mayville, at this point of their defensive stand, seems be a little bit quicker in reacting better to the plays of the quicker Baldwin-Woodville offense.
Third down and 8 at the 11. Butler to pass. Man is open, but he overthrows Brian Nadeau in the end zone, and boy, that's one he'd like to have back.
Again, excellent execution. Everything, the blocking was outstanding. The receiver was wide open, just didn't hit him.
Butler has thrown for 13 touchdowns this year, and that could have been number 14, but it just went over the outstretched arms. And they're going to go for it on 4th and 8 at the 11. Sell and Veenendahl behind Butler. In motion is Gilbertson. Butler with a little quick hitter, incomplete. Looking for Mike Feedy, but Dan Decker making the big hit. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our statewide sponsors, Marshfield Clinic and the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. This is the WIAA State Football Network. So Mayville takes over on downs as Baldwin-Woodville cannot convert on the 4th down situation. So the Cardinals have it at the 11. They give it to Hilber up the middle for a short gain.
That's your buck trap. This is the bread and butter, again, of the Mayville offense, and I look for them, because of their size differential, to be able to run that play quite a bit, along with the belly play. Baldwin
Well, Mayville has certainly not been, has not had great field position, to say the least. Both possessions for the Cardinals have started on their own 11-yard line. Baldwin-Woodville has been able to move the ball, but still scoreless with 3:54 remaining in the first quarter of play. Jay Wilson and Bill Bartholomew with you at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison on a chilly November afternoon. State championship weekend. And we have a shoe problem. Number 41, Chad Veenendahl, taking care of business down there. And now we're set. 2nd and 4, Mayville at the 17. The give is to Decker. No, make that Hilber. Scott Hilber right up the middle for a short gain, and it'll be 3rd down.
There, Scott Hilber showed some of his diversity that time he came. It should have been an off-tackle play. He cut it back inside where there's a little bit more of a hole. But the defensive line for Baldwin-Woodville is doing a nice job of mixing it up with slants and keeping. They're very quick. They're very quick.
3rd and 2 now for Mayville. The give is to Hilber again, and he breaks through an opening almost to the 30-yard line. Big gain for Scott Hilber. He just kept bouncing off bodies, and all of a sudden he had a 10-yard gain. Finally ridden down by number 82, Ken Dykehouse.
That time the larger Mayville players were able to very much control the defensive line of Baldwin.
1st and 10, they go to Hilber again, but boy, is he smacked by Jason Sell. two running backs meeting each other, and Hilbert didn't have a chance.
They're bringing their linebackers, and again, that's a part of the penetration theory of stopping the wing T. And Jason Sell looked like he was on a stunt, and he was in the right place at the right time.
2nd and 9 at the 30 for Mayville. 2.5 minutes left, first quarter. The give is to Brian Klieger around the outside, and he's ridden out of bounds. After a gain of about 3 yards, it'll be 3rd down and 6 for Mayville. Klieger's the speed back for Mayville. We've seen him go outside a couple of times, hasn't been able to do much yet. But on 3rd down, in comes Dan Decker, a very versatile player. He can catch the ball, he can run with it, good blocking back, and a key player on a 3rd down situation. That's where we are, 3rd and 8 at the 31. Back to pass is Kyle Gassner. The rush is on, and he's still alive, and he's got some room. He's to the 40.
First down.
First down. Jason Sell with the pursuit to finally get Kyle Gassner, but he was almost tackled in the backfield, but then suddenly a big hole opened up.
That was an excellent job by Kyle. Baldwin should have had him for about a 6-yard loss in a 4th down situation, but just an excellent job of coming up field to pick up that first down.
You see number 50, Greg Wire, who's a freshman nose tackle, just barely missing Gassner right there. And that was enough to give Gassner and Mayville the first down. So here we go. The inside handoff is to number 33. That's Chad Christian. And look at him go to the 40, the 30, the 20. He's gone. Touchdown, Mayville. "57 yards for Chad Christian, a 5'11" junior. And Mayville scores the first points of the Division IV championship game.
There's a good example of the misdirection of the wing T, because they're pretty well keying on Hilbert, and that counter play really caught Baldwin chasing the wrong person. Nice job of running as well.
Colin Gassner in to kick the extra point, and it's perfect. 7-0 Mayville with 2:01 left in the first quarter. Well, we keep talking about Scott Hilbert and Brian Klieger and Dan Decker, and everybody forgot about Chad Christian.
And that's the unique thing about the wing T offense, is because about the time that you're looking at the fullback and the tailback, suddenly you come now with an inside handoff counter, inside counter. Nice job by the tight end, who's pulled on that play and blocking downfield, and he's got some speed too.
Boy, I guess, huh?
Nice job.
Well, Mayville, of course, undefeated, 12-0 coming into this game. Came so close last year. That Mayville team, 10 rushes, 93 yards already, including that 57-yarder by Chad Christian. Kicking off for Mayville is Colin Gassner. He's a 3-time punt, pass, and kick champion, so you know he can do a lot of things. And Chad Bienendahl back again to receive the kick for Baldwin-Woodville. And Gassner gets a little wind behind him, but this kick is going to go to the up back at about the 13. And Gilbertson has it across the 35 before he's ridden down. Gassner didn't get all of it, and Tim Gilbertson able to run it back, giving Baldwin-Woodville some pretty good field position to start their 3rd drive of the game.
Jay, thus far, I think we've really seen what we talked about before the game, and that is you're seeing 2 excellent, well-coached teams who are using various strategies to counter their strengths and weaknesses. And Mayville just came back with that touchdown. Let's see what Baldwin-Woodville can do now on the attack again.
From the 37, 1st and 10. Bienendahl gets it, and he's met right there. Jeremy Boudon, who's made a lot of plays for Mayville already, as we're in the final minute and a half of the first quarter. A long drive didn't take very long for Mayville as they get their first points. Capped off by that big 57-yard run by Chad Christian. Craig Butler brings his team to the line. 2nd and 9. at the 38. Butler still has it. He's around the corner. First down, out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Butler with a nice job of ball faking there, and he's ridden out of bounds. The tackle by Kyle Gassner.
There again, the option play, which Craig Butler obviously does an excellent job with. That time the pitchback didn't stay with the quarterback, otherwise he would have had another option.
In fact, there's a penalty marker back at the 35-yard line of Baldwin-Woodville, and the officials are now talking to Mayville, so this play apparently will come back. Boy, a quarterback like Butler can drive a defense absolutely nuts, can he?
Well, you know, playing the option is really discipline, and if you don't play a lot of option teams, it can be a problem to you. I don't know. The Flyway Conference is a very good conference. I don't know how many teams that run the option, but this may be one of the few times this year that Mayville has seen the option. The thing is, as the game progresses, they're going to get better at defending.
The call is a hold on the Baldwin-Woodville team, so that puts them back. Instead of a first down at the 47, it's now a 2nd and 22 at their own 26 with 49 seconds left in the first quarter. 7-0 Mayville. Gilbertson in motion. Butler to pass. The little hook again, and that's Nadeau with a hook and lateral. How about that?
Hook and ladder.
How about that? Nadeau caught the pass and then gave it back to Gilbertson, who was the original motion back, and the pitch didn't get him much, but
I think
it sure looked nice, didn't it?
It looked great. That's a little bit better play to the wide side of the field, and gives your trailer a little bit more room to operate.
Mike Feedy with the catch instead of Nadeau on the far side, but that gets him about 11 yards, so it's 3rd and 11 at the 16. This will probably be the final play of the first quarter. And Butler goes to throw again. And it is intercepted, yes. It's that man again, Jeremy Boudin. He's been making tackles all day. Now he makes an interception with 1 second left in the first quarter. And Mayville takes over in Baldwin-Woodville territory.
Baldwin-Woodville had not really made a mistake until that holding penalty, and now they come up with the second interception. The first interception was a tip. That was a little bit different, but this one here, he really shouldn't have thrown the ball. The man was covered.
The Cardinals will get one more play in the first quarter. Gassner.
Buck sweep.
The handoff to Klieger, and he's stopped for a loss. And that's the first quarter. 7-0 Mayville after 1. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Jay Wilson and Bill Bartholomew with you at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, the Division IV championship game. Chad Christian's 57-yard touchdown run with 2 minutes, 1 second left in the first quarter is the difference, as Mayville has a 7-0 lead. First quarter, your thoughts?
Well, first quarter, I felt that both teams were kind of feeling each other out to see what they were doing. Baldwin-Woodville has an excellent game plan, both offensively and defensively. I think Mayville has taken a little bit more time defensively, but they've not allowed any points. I think right now they're going to get stronger. Can Baldwin-Woodville now continue that same success they had? But they can't make any more mistakes. I might add one thing, and this has to do with both of these programs again, that they're not only representing themselves and their schools, they're also representing their conferences. The Flyway Conference and the Middle Border Conference, every team in that conference feels awfully good about having their champion up here playing in this game, and I think that's an important part that people don't realize about the state tournament.
Well, and you can see a lot of, if you go sit to the Mayville seating section, you'll see a lot of the conference schools with their jackets.
Yeah,
and
everybody feels good about your team your champion being in that state playoff.
Absolutely. Start of the second quarter now, 7-0 Mayville. The Cardinals have the ball on the Baldwin-Woodville 48-yard line, 2nd and 12. Gassner has it, and he fumbles as he's hit from behind. Loose ball. Baldwin-Woodville has it. He was hit from behind, and Brian Nadeau with the recovery for the Hawks. Well, Mayville has it for 2 plays and gives it up.
There may have been a mistake on this play. I think there was supposed to be a handoff to number 20, inside counter again, and the quarterback was running, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, but again, the penetration from Baldwin-Woodville caused that mistake.
Bart Koyman with the hit from behind to cause the fumble. 1st and 10 at the 44. Baldwin-Woodville looking to get the tying score. Vienendahl, again, he's stacked up. He's had some trouble getting going.
I think he's got to take a look at breaking that back inside, because the linebacker is, we call, scraping out to that off-tackle hole, and they've really sealed that down pretty well. I look for Jason Sala to run that more inside, being a little bit larger.
Second and 9 at the 43. Butler again will throw. The rush is on. He throws it anyway into coverage, and he's lucky that wasn't intercepted by number 32, Scott Hilbert. Mike Feedy, the intended receiver.
That time, Noel Feckhelm from Mayville was a person that almost caused that interception. He did a nice job of rushing the passer.
Statistically, the first quarter was pretty even. Mayville with 91 total yards, Baldwin-Woodville with 67. All those Mayville yards via rushing. 3rd and 9. Butler over the middle again. That one is incomplete. Again, he's looking for Mike Feedy. It'll be 4th down.
We're going to see our first punt.
We should, and that would mean that Scott Newton, number 40, who is a freshman, is in to kick it away for Baldwin-Woodville. Back to receive for Mayville is number 21, Dan Decker. The snap is good. The kick is high. Decker lets it drop, and that's going to be inside the 5-yard line as Tim Gilbertson is there to down it for Baldwin-Woodville. So Mayville again will start deep in their own territory at the 4-yard line. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Bill, Ken Beagle talked about it earlier this morning. A lot of teams have a tendency on this artificial turf for some reason to let the ball hit, and that just kills them on a punt.
That's right, and it was a nice bounce. And Christian, although they used a tight punt formation, and they really got downfield extremely well. Of course, on a punt like that, particularly on turf, your luck is as good as the bounce.
Yeah.
Or the bounce is as good as the luck. But Mayville, interestingly enough, they're leading in the game, and yet they really haven't had field position.
Yeah.
Going back to that 3rd down play where Mayville was nearly sacked, and then they picked up the 1st down, that looks like a bigger play than ever now.
Sure. And it's 7-0 Baldwin-Woodville, 10:46 left, 2nd quarter. So the Cardinals backed up against their own end zone. They'll start this drive at the 4-yard line. Field position has not been their friend so far. They started 2 drives from the 11. But on one of those 2 drives, they scored a touchdown. 57 yards, Chad Christian, the only score of the game. Kyle Gassner loses the snap, and I believe his knee touched, so he'll lose a yard back to the 3-yard line. Yeah, trying to keep those hands warm. It's going to get tougher and tougher to handle that snap. Here you see it. And once the knee hits, that's that, eh?
The wing tee offense is really a good ball control offense also, and it'll be interesting to see now if they can use their power to come off the ball and be able to.
Wow, That's Decker stacked up by 2 Baldwin-Woodville defenders, including number 50, Greg Wire, the freshman, and number 81, Brian Nadeau.
Mayville's going to have to be able to counter the penetration by Baldwin-Woodville. That time they tried a tailback trap, which is an excellent play, but the backside penetration continues to hurt Mayville.
3rd and 11, and Mayville just wants to get out of this hole to perhaps get some room to kick it. They give it inside across the 11-yard line. That's Scott Hilber, but he will be just short of the first down by a couple of yards, so that'll set up the first punt of the day for Mayville.
Real nice job on the belly play again. Great blocking at the line of scrimmage, and Mayville just has to become a little bit more consistent in taking advantage of their size and controlling the line of scrimmage.
Colin Gassner to punt. Back to receive, 42, Dustin Wienendahl, and Bart Koyman, number 20. The kick is a wobbly one. It goes along the 30-yard line, and Colleen will down it inside the 30, so not very good luck for Colin Gassner in his first punt of the day, and Baldwin-Woodville with a great opportunity to put some points on the board. And that was against that wind, and that's going to be tough to go against that wind all day.
Being able to punt into the wind, and they're using a spread punt. He's back about 15 yards, so while he's got a 30-yard punt, it's only going to give him a very poor field position for Mayville defensively.
1st and 10 at the 28. Butler taking down Ryan Colleen in the backfield for a loss of 3. Boy, Ryan Colleen is one of those guys.
Ryan Colleen is a great high school football player, and he showed that a year ago in the playoff game and in the playoff finals, and he certainly is giving us that same impression this year.
Best way to take care of an option.
Well,
he's not give him an option, right?
He's responsible for the quarterback on the option.
Sure. All right, loss of 3, 2nd and 13 at the 31. And Butler goes to pass. Again, he doesn't have a receiver, and again, Colleen pushes him out of bounds. He might have gained a yard, but not much, and it'll be a long 3rd down situation. Of course, a lot of these Mayville football players were part of the Mayville State basketball team. Ryan Colleen, Kyle Gassner, Colin Gassner, Brad Steinbach was injured, Steve Olson was injured. They were all part of the Mayville basketball team that has state tournament experience. So we talk about their football experience.
Talk about outstanding athletes.
Absolutely, that's the name of the game. 3rd and 12 at the 30. Baldwin-Woodville not too bad on 3rd down conversion so far today. This time, Butler throws it, intercepted again by Kyle Gassner, his 2nd of the day. Mayville applies the big pressure, and Butler throws into double coverage again, and Gassner picks it off.
Again, it's Noel Feckhelm, who's the pressure man on the quarterback, who actually will get the sack, almost a sack anyway, the pressure for causing the interception.
So Mayville's chance starting the drive inside the 50 turns into an interception. There you see Mayville used to making big plays on defense. Oh, and as they give the ball to Sell, it's fumbled, it's still loose. There were a couple of Baldwin-Woodville players there, and they have it. I think it's going to be Tim Gilbertson, number 21, who's there for the fumble recovery. Now I think they're going to give it to number 20, who is Bart Koyman. So the Mayville drive lasts one play as they have a little trouble as Hilber lost the ball in the exchange.
Mayville's offense generally is very fumble-free. The entire season up to this point, they've fumbled 15 times. And so they're having a little bit of jitters, probably because they're in the state finals. But
both teams now with 3 turnovers already, and we're halfway through the 2nd quarter. And Butler goes right for the pass. He goes for the end zone, but didn't see anything there and threw it over the head of Wienendahl, who was double covered again.
That time, Baldwin-Woodville came out in a one-man set where they have one man in the backfield, 2 flankers, and a tight end, which are triple receivers to one side. Very well defended, extremely well by Mayville.
Second and 10 at the 19. 7-0 Mayville. Our only score, a second quarter touchdown by Chad Christian. That's Dienendahl. No, Butler still has it. He pitches to Tim Gilbertson, and he is ridden down. Colleen leading the charge again. Also there is Dan Decker, number 21.
Dan Decker really made the big play because when the blocker came out to stalk block him, he was able to get rid of the blocker and tackle the pitchman, who he's responsible for. Really nice job.
Boy, and just like that, it's 3rd and long again for Baldwin-Woodville. 3rd and 12.
Mayville is defending extremely well now. I think they're into their game.
Looking for Nadu, and it's behind him and intercepted again. The 4th interception of the day. This time, it's Jeremy Boudon getting it from Mayville. And again, the ball-hawking Mayville Cardinal defense comes up with another big play deep in their own territory, turning Baldwin-Woodville away again.
Mayville, with the larger defensive line, is starting to pressure the smaller offensive line, and that time the ball probably should have been 8.
Yeah. Well, the Mayville secondary.
Secondary is doing a super job of covering the receivers.
You know, Butler's thrown some great passes to get in between some people, but even those passes with other people around. Butler now for Baldwin-Woodville, we have him unofficially at 4 of 16 in passing, 29 yards, 4 interceptions. But again, it's only a 7-0 game, which may be a bit of a surprise when you hear numbers like that.
Exactly. Mayville just hasn't had field position. I mean, they've not been able to take advantage of those turnovers yet.
Up the middle, Hilber with a penalty marker down. And that is in that area that you figure somebody was grabbing somebody else for Mayville. And it is a hold. Our officials today, the referee is Roger Hiesacker of Green Bay, the umpire Robert White of Green Bay, the linesman Wayne Carroll of Luxembourg, and Bud Tozier of Green Bay, our line judge. So the hole gets a little deeper for Mayville as they'll mark off that holding penalty, we would think. Yes, they will. So they'll take it inside the 15-yard line. Down to the 10.
Look for Mayville to try to come back with that counter play again. The counter play is the big. That's the big long gainer. That's the one that's going to get you multiple yards, and the penetration thus far is only allowed them to run successfully one. Of course, that was a touchdown.
First down and 18. They pitch it.
Quick pitch.
Brian Klieger, the speed back, and he has some room. He is run out of bounds right at the 30-yard line, and doggone, I think he might have got 18 yards at least. First and 18, convert on that. That's something.
That was an excellent call. It caught the Baldwin-Woodville defense by surprise. The defensive end and the cornerback both got caught inside, and the tackle, number 72, just an excellent job of coming upfield.
Yeah, Brandon McSorley allowing the runner to get outside in a first down. So Gassner goes to throw. He's looking deep, floats it up for Colleen, intercepted though, and they head the other way. Number 82 is Ken Dykehouse for Baldwin-Woodville. Another turnover.
Colleen was wide open. Yeah. But again, I think we see the effect of the wind. The wind really laid the ball up.
And now watch how, I mean, Colleen, he still almost gets this too, you know. I mean,
good pressure. Good pressure by Baldwin-Woodville's defense, though.
So Baldwin-Woodville again with a possession inside the Mayville 50-yard line. And somebody jumped. Penalty markers all over the place. With 5:15 remaining in the second quarter. Offsides, Mayville. Well, I'm looking at where drive started. Baldwin-Woodville, Mayville 46, punt. Mayville 20, interception. Mayville 21, interception. Now they have it at the 46. They've got to start cashing in on one of these.
They've got to get some points on the board they've had great opportunities, and of course Mayville's defense been up to the task.
Inside handoff to Jason Sell. He moves the pile close to a first down at the 36. And they may measure. Yes, they will. 4:59 left in the first half.
They've got to use Jason Sell a little bit more inside. With his size and his quickness, he's able to gain some pretty decent yards inside on a regular basis. I think the Mayville defense has really been able to defend the option if Craig Butler can start hitting his passes, because he has his people open.
So a first down for Baldwin-Woodville at the 36 of Mayville. The clock moves, 4:55 left. They give it to Sell again, but nothing there. Jeremy Schroffnagel, number 50, is at the top of the pile for Mayville. One of about 5 Mayville defenders to help make that stop, along with Colin Gassner.
Mayville is starting to pick up some of the tendencies that Baldwin-Woodville is running, and as with the option, that time it looked like the defensive tackle and the nose guard were slanting in that direction. Pretty hard to run against that slant.
2nd and 9 at the 35-yard line. This time they pitch it to Chad Veenendahl, and he's ridden down in the backfield. There's Brandon McSorley. Well, we saw McSorley make a great play on offense. Now he follows that up with a great play on defense. McSorley, a 6'2", 225-pound junior.
He's played extremely well. Now they have some talented people, not only in the secondary, but also in the defensive line.
The loss on the play makes it 3rd and 14 at the 40, and Baldwin-Woodville going the wrong way right now. Gilbertson in motion. They throw it, and a nice catch. No, it's dropped. Mike Feedy had it in his hands, but he was bothered by the Mayville defender, so it'll be 4th down.
3rd down situations, Mayville is going to a 4-2 defense and putting in an additional defensive back, and that's one of the reasons that Baldwin-Woodville is having problems with that passing game.
So Baldwin-Woodville will kick it away. Again, the freshman Scott Newton in to punt it. Deep for Mayville is Dan Decker. The kick is away. It'll be inside the 20. And it's down by Dustin Veenendahl at the 11-yard line. So that's where Mayville will start their next drive. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Well, Bill, again, we see Mayville start, or rather Baldwin-Woodville starting a drive in Mayville territory. They come up short again. Is there frustration starting to set in on that offense?
I think they're extremely frustrated. They've had, I think, 6 opportunities now where they were in position to be able to get a drive going. Generally, if you're inside the 50-yard line, your opportunities and inside the 30-yard line, your opportunity of scoring should be very good, and they just haven't been able to capitalize on it. But you got to take a look at the Mayville defense. With their backs to the wall, they've been able to shut down the Baldwin-Woodville attack.
In the second quarter, Baldwin-Woodville has tried 7 rushing plays for a total of -2 yards. And 0 of 6 passing for no yards and 2 interceptions. So this has not been a very good quarter for that Hawk offense. Mayville still leading 7-0. Chad Christian's 57-yard touchdown run still holding up as we head to the final 3:25 of the second quarter. Mayville with the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 12-yard line. The quarterback is senior Kyle Gassner. He gives the ball to Dan Decker. He gets out to about the 14-yard line before he's driven back. Chad Veenendahl with the stop.
That time they just ran a simple dive play, and that's a good play to run against a team that's slanting, because if you catch them slanting away from the ball carrier, you're going to have a nice gain. And of course, they picked up 5 yards. I look for a little bit more of that. Instead of the trap, maybe a quick fullback dive, quick dive to the, and the quick pitch.
From the 16, 2nd and 6. Hilber picks his way out to the 24-yard line. The 23, they mark it. That'll be a first down for Mayville with 2:44 left. As Hilber picks his way through.
Mayville's offensive coordinator is starting to pick up the defensive flow of Baldwin-Woodville, and they'll adjust their attack accordingly.
On first down, Gassner looked for the inside handoff. They're looking, and there's nothing there.
That time Baldwin-Woodville blitzed both linebackers, and again the penetration. You're in the backfield, and that's a delayed handoff almost because of the counter movement. And
Rich Cordes attempting the run, but number 41 Chad Vienendahl was there to make the stop. And Mayville fans certainly remember this period of the game last year when Stanley Boyd, Mayville was ahead by a couple of scores, but Stanley Boyd was able to get a late score at the end of the first half, and it really turned the game around. And so Mayville maybe has that in the back of their minds, and they don't want to see that same kind of thing happen again this year. You see the clock winding down. That tackle made by number 75, Jeff Mentink. So now it's 3rd and 15 at the 19th. So Baldwin-Woodville maybe can get another chance to get the ball in pretty good field position to still make one more attempt to score just before the half. But first, they have to stop this 3rd down play. And there's a timeout. Timeout for Baldwin-Woodville.
It'd be interesting to see Coach Hilber is going to put the ball up at 3rd and long with a 7-0 lead. He may elect to come with a more conservative call and maybe punt the ball in this given situation. I'm sure that's why we have the timeout.
Sure. And you know, Colin Gassner didn't have a very good punt his first time, but he's a very capable punter. He punted very well here last year. And the way that defense is playing, sure, you don't want to make another mistake down here and really give Mayville a chance at a score.
Yeah, it's a key decision. There's no question about it. But at this time of the season, you're pretty comfortable with what you're doing. And the important thing here, don't allow a block punt. If we're going to elect to go with a conservative call and punt the ball on 4th down, you can't allow that.
More action coming up tonight on the WIAA State Football Network. The Monroe Cheesemakers looking for their 2nd straight Division II championship, looking for their 32nd win in a row, but Kaukauna has a lot to say about that. Kaukauna coming in with 3 losses, but they say they wouldn't want it any other way. They want a shot at Monroe. And check your local listings. That game scheduled to start at 7 o'clock tonight on the WIAA State Football Tournament Network. 3rd and 15 for Mayville. And motion on the left side of the line. McSorley moved early, and that'll cost Mayville 5 yards. That sounded like a coach saying, oh boy, huh?
Yeah, never fails. Go out and get everybody ready. What we're going to do, and somebody jumps.
Yeah.
They're lining up in a double wing formation, so I look for motion, possibly a screen.
Scott Hilber is the lone setback. 3rd and 20. They give it to Hilber, and he'll get out to about the 21. Well short of the first down. And Baldwin-Woodville takes another timeout with 1:06 left. 7-0 Mayville.
That was a nice call. They brought the wing back in motion out of the double wing formation. And tried to run off tackle slant. If he breaks that, he could have gone all the way. Nice job of defense by Baldwin-Woodville, forcing the punting situation.
I don't want. There you see the Baldwin-Woodville Hawks undefeated in their conference. The 1 loss overall in the 2nd game of the season, 32-27. Again, a game that Baldwin-Woodville committed a lot of turnovers, and the turnover bug has hit them again today, but they find themselves only in a 7-point hole right now.
Both of these teams have excellent turnover ratios, which means the number of turnovers you have versus the turnovers your opponents. And if you have a plus turnover ratio, generally you're going to have a winning season. And the bigger that ratio is on the positive side, the better your record's going to be.
And Mayville, also an undefeated season. They're in the Flyway Conference. Undefeated overall, 12-0. So on 4th down, Colin Gassner into punt. And Baldwin-Woodville will let it roll. And on the turf, it takes another good bounce inside the 40. And Colleen will down it at the 38. So with 52 seconds left, Baldwin-Woodville has the ball. An interesting coaching observation we were talking about before the game, you and I, Bill, about Mayville, or no, check it, about Baldwin-Woodville and Wade Lebecki and Jack Scholes, who won a championship back in '87.
Yeah, Jack Scholes is the assistant coach now, and Wade Lebecki, of course, is a young head coach, and that's a little unusual because generally the older coaches, if you won a state championship, you are retired and you're not active any longer. And Jack Scholes is very active as one of the assistants. And as a matter of fact, the offense and defense that they're running right now is pretty similar. In fact, the same thing that they did when they were the champions in '87. Very good football program.
Completion to Dustin Wiedendahl, so it's 2nd and 3, and again they go to the air, and again it's complete. This time Tim Gilbertson gets it. Nope, check it, that's Brian Nadeau gets it. And he's tackled there by Colin Gassner. And it'll be a 1st down for Baldwin-Woodville with 26 seconds left in the half. First and 10, the clock runs. Butler to pass. He shovels it. That is Sell going out of bounds, stopping the clock with 12 seconds left. Jeremy Schroffnagel with the hit for Mayville. So we're going to go deep here, Coach?
Second, yeah. Well, he doesn't have much choice right now. He's got to put the ball up. He's got probably 2 plays left. The defensive secondary for Mayville is playing extremely conservative right now. They're backing off 20, 25 yards, playing a deep zone, rushing 4 men.
Butler with a little roll to the right, throws it left. It's a double pass.
He's wide open.
He's open. Gilbertson is there, but Gassner recovered nicely to knock it away with 4 seconds left.
A nice call.
Yeah, Nadeau looking downfield. The pass was to Brian Nadeau, and he passed it again.
Mayville is in a 2 deep coverage, and both of those players are extremely good playing that, being able to play the deep ball. We've seen that earlier.
You see Butler. That okay?
Oh yeah, that's fine. That was behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay. Now a double handoff and a little flea flicker. Butler looking deep. It's a pop-up. It's caught by Chad Wienendahl out of bounds, but that's going to end the first half. So some interesting play calling there to end it.
I don't think you could see 2 better calls. The double.
All right. So after our first half of play in the Division IV championship game, Mayville on a 57-yard touchdown by Chad Christian leads Baldwin-Woodville 7-0.
Don't miss Newton's Apple, Wednesday nights at 7 on Wisconsin Public Television.
Welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. I'm Jay Wilson along with Milwaukee South football coach Bill Bartholomew. We're staying warm here at halftime, but we're going to make it, I think, the start of the third quarter just ahead. Mayville leading Baldwin-Woodville 7-0. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights of the first half, and offensively, the big highlight. It's a Mayville touchdown from Chad Christensen, Bill.
This is the counter. This is the only counter play that Mayville was able to execute successfully. Mayville's has had, even though they're gaining yards, they've had trouble getting their offense to move on a regular basis consistently. And one of the reasons has been Baldwin-Woodville's game plan defensively is to penetrate and to cut off the blockers, the guards and the tight end, whoever's pulling. If Mayville,
don't worry. The trunk closed, that's all.
Mayville's offense, if they're able to, I think, looking at what if they're going to be able to adjust, is being able to stop that penetration.
Turnovers, the other story in the first half. There's Gassner getting an interception for Mayville. And
Mayville's defense has played terrific. Now, Mayville has gone to a 4-2 with 5 defensive backs, and I just suspect that Baldwin-Woodville is not ready for that. Now, we have to see how they're going to adjust to the second half.
But Baldwin-Woodville's defense, of course, getting some turnovers from Mayville as well, so that's why the score is pretty even, and that's why we have a good game.
Baldwin-Woodville is just doing a superb job defensively, considering they're outmanned size-wise.
And statistically in the first half, well, not much passing from Mayville, but they certainly have done the job on the ground with 128 yards. Of course, about half of that on that 57-yard run by Christian. But turnovers, both teams with 4 turnovers in the first half.
Turnovers, of course, is the reason that we've got a 7-0 score, and have.
Okay, now the clock wound down to 0, and Baldwin-Woodville was not out when the clock ran down. They reset the clock at 3 minutes, and we understand that Baldwin-Woodville is being assessed a 15-yard penalty for not being out there to start the second half. What do you think?
Big mistake. Whether or not somebody didn't come in and tell them you got 3 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever the notification is, but boy, that's a big mistake, because right now we're into field position, beginning field position second half.
Well, before the game started, Mayville was out here real early, and Baldwin-Woodville didn't get out here as early again. I don't know if the two events are related, or that's the way they want to do it, or what. But
I think every coach has their own strategy pregame in terms of what you want to do, particularly getting used to a new stadium or whatever. But big mistake coming out late at the half and taking that penalty, because now Mayville is going to be receiving. Baldwin-Woodville will be kicking from the 25-yard line.
Sure. Individually, Chad Christian, 1 rush, 57 yards. Not bad. Hilber, 9 for 45. Cleaver, 6 for 22 for Mayville. Gassner passing, tried only 1 pass, and that was intercepted. For Baldwin-Woodville, Chad Vienendahl, 8 rushes, 5 yards. That is not Chad Vienendahl, I'm told. The Mayville Cardinal? Or is that a Hawk? Is that the Mayville Cardinal? I believe so.
That is the Mayville Cardinal.
There you go. How about that? Sell, 6 rushes, 18 yards. Gilbertson, 2 for none. And Butler, the quarterback, rushed 4 times for 13 yards. Passing, Craig Butler, 8 completions and 21 attempts, 60 yards, 4 interceptions. And receiving, Feedy with 2 catches, and Dustin Vienendahl, 2 catches for 14 yards. And I
think
that's the story.
Both teams feel that they made too many mistakes.
Sure.
And clean up their game. Come on out. Let's play error-free football. If we do that, we can win the game. 7 points. Both of these teams can put many points on the board. They have during the course of the season. So second half should be as exciting, if not more exciting, than the first half.
You've been on the sidelines for many games in your day with some pretty cold temperatures. How tough does it get, or does it not bother these kids?
No, I don't know. I would estimate the temperature probably be in the low 30s right now. It really doesn't affect them. I think the wind blowing right now is really the biggest effect on the kicking game and the throwing game.
It's kind of like kicking a rock, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Okay, Baldwin-Woodville will be kicking off from the 35-yard line.
Oh, the 5-yard. Okay, 5-yard.
Okay.
5-yard.
Yeah, we'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Doing the kicking will be Dustin Wienendahl, and he kicks it deep. And here comes Mayville, and there's an opening. Number 20 is Brian Klieger. He's out to the 45-yard line. That's where Mayville will start its first possession of the second half with a 7-0 lead. And a penalty marker is down at the 46. Personal foul, Baldwin-Woodville. So a penalty will put Mayville into Baldwin-Woodville territory, and that's not the way the Hawks wanted to start this half. Wade Lebecki pacing the sidelines. And they'll mark off 15 yards down to the 39-yard line. Here's the run back. Let's see if we can see something there. Klieger is down there, and they might have got number 82 for Spearing. Well, in any case, Alex Hilbert takes the ball on 1st and 10, and he'll get about 6 yards down to the 33-yard line.
That time, the Mayville offensive line completely dominated the line of scrimmage, pushed the Baldwin-Woodville defense back considerably, and that time, a straight dive, fullback dive.
And you get the feeling that 2 scores, if Mayville goes 2 scores up, that's going to be a big margin. Here's Hilbert again. Inside the 30 to the 29, close to a first down. Tackled by Greg Wire. Greg Wire on the tackle for Baldwin-Woodville. By the way, if you're wondering where the heck these towns are, Baldwin-Woodville about 35 miles west of Eau Claire, and Mayville about 45 miles northwest of Milwaukee. So an east-west battle today. Scott Hilbert has 11 rushes, 55 yards. Just short of the first down, 3rd and short. Hilbert gets it again. He has an opening. A penalty marker is down as Hilbert gets down to the 21. But this one may come back.
That time the right guard, right tackle, and tight end, right end from Mayville just totally dominated the defensive left side of the Baldwin-Woodville line.
But the penalty call goes against them, yeah. Guess that's how they dominated him. Huh? They might have tackled somebody. But that's to be expected with that big front line to go to that right side. And as you've said all along, the size is really helping for Mayville right now.
They're coming, they're hitting, instead of going with the slower developing buck sweep and counter plays, they're coming with just a straight fullback dive or belly play, and it's been much more effective. Let's see if they come back with the same thing.
3rd and 9 to 38. Gassner to pass. And the receiver fell down. That was Rich Cordes slipping on the turf. And that'll set up 4th and long for Mayville, and look for Colin Gassner to kick the ball away. But again, from Mayville's standpoint, you're going to put, you figure to put Baldwin-Woodville in a hole, and then you just let the defense hold them again, huh?
Right. Interestingly enough, both teams now have made key mistakes in the first series.
Colin Gassner punts it. A high one inside the 10. Will it stay in the field? No, it won't. In the end zone. And it's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 20 when Baldwin-Woodville gets the ball when we come back. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. So Baldwin-Woodville still trying to get something together. Again, in the first half, they had possessions. They started on Mayville's 46, then punted. Mayville's 20-yard line, interception. Mayville's 21, interception. They had it on the 46 of Mayville and was forced to punt, and then their last drive stopped by the half. But how might Baldwin just get something going? Do they have to mix things up even more here? Do they have to throw more?
I think if they go to their basic game plan that they in their opening drive, where they mixed up their plays, ran inside, ran off tackle, threw the ball on first down, threw it on second down, that was an excellent drive. If they can do the same thing and take advantage of the fact that Mayville in passing
10:20 remaining third quarter, 7-0 Mayville. Still the only score, that Chad Christian run in the first quarter. Boy, it's been a while since we've seen some points. Here's Baldwin-Woodville starting at the 20-yard line. The give to Veenendahl, and again he is stacked up.
First down, Mayville's in their 52 defense, 3 deep. Passing situation now. They'll revert back to that 4-2 defense.
We talked about Chad Veenendahl, what a great year and what a great career he's had at Baldwin-Woodville. 8 rushes, 5 yards in the first half, and there he stopped for a 1-yard gain to start the second half.
Mayville still in the 5-man front.
7-0 Mayville, 9:47 left in the third quarter. There's the give inside to Sell, and he gets out to about the 26. He'll be about 4 yards short of the first down.
That's a counter trap. They had run that out of split backs. They had run that successfully in the first drive. They came back to it again. A nice pickup. 5 yards.
So it's 3rd and 3 for
now they're back
Wade Lebecki's offense.
They're in that 4-2 alignment now. Let's see if Baldwin-Woodville has decided how they're going to be able to. Okay.
Colleen tipped the pass
again.
Yep.
Right.
Brian Nadeau was the intended receiver, but the ball never got there. That man, Colleen again, 6'3", 210-pound senior.
That time, instead of rushing aggressively, what he did, he's stringing it out and actually gets in the forces the quarterback to throw over him, and of course he knocked it down.
So it's 4th and 3 at the 27, and Scott Newton into punt.
Into the wind. Nice punt.
And a fair catch called for, dropped by Gilbertson, make it Decker, but he recovers it at the 47-yard line. So Mayville, near midfield, will get its second possession of the half at the 46. And Alex Hilber's team would really like to get another score here to make things a little more comfortable. They lead by 7. Kyle Gassner at quarterback. Scott Hilber gets the handoff. He's across midfield. He runs into Tim Gilbertson, but gets inside the 45 to the 43.
That's the same fullback slant they ran and were called for holding earlier in the last series. Again, the right side of the Mayville line is really taking charge right now.
First down yardage, 8:43 remaining third quarter.
Ryan Colleen and Dave Lobbs, just outstanding job coming off the ball.
The give inside again to Hilber to the 40.
Nothing fancy.
Do they set something up going right, and then
go
left?
I think they've been so successful during the course of the year that they're going to say, we're going to run the ball to the right, you try and stop us.
It, sure.
And yet they can come back to the weak side, to the left if they have to.
2nd and 7. Hilber again to the 37, gain of 3.
That time they ran a trap. They trapped to the left side, just enough to keep the defense of Baldwin.
Not the biggest day of the season for Scott Hilber, but lately he's been pretty effective, and he limps off a little bit. Doesn't look to be hurt too badly, but he'll come out for a play, at least.
Scott Hilber averaged over 6 yards per carry for the course of the season, so he's a little under his average.
3rd and 4. This time the handoff goes to Brian Klieger. Will he get there? It's going to be awful close. He needed to get almost to the 33-yard line, and that's about where he got, depending on the mark. And it's real close to a first down. And in fact, it is a first down. First down, Mayville. The drive continues. But when you have Hilber pounding in, and then you have a quick back coming around outside by Klieger, that's a nice combination.
That was one of the few times that the defense could not penetrate.
That's number 21, Dan Decker, getting the handoff. As they're looking at Scott Hilber's ankle. I believe they're taping up his ankle a little bit on the sideline, so he is still out of the game, Scott Hilber. So in with the play is number 33, Chad Christian, and well, there's Hilber. You see the trainer working on the left ankle, taping that up right now. But again, it doesn't look terribly serious, and you can probably expect Hilber to get back into the game. But Chad Christian in the backfield now. His one run went for 57 yards. Here's Christian with the ball again. Well, there goes his average, but he gets about 3 yards down to the 28.
Mayville's following that basic strategy they came out with the beginning of the half. They're just giving.
And look who's back. Hilber's ankle taped up, and he'll replace Jeremy Boudin. Now on 3rd and 5, Mayville makes a couple more substitutions. Number 22, Rich Cordes is in. Number 20, Brian Klieger comes in. Klieger and Hilber in the backfield. Cordes split to the right. The quick pitch, Klieger. Nice defensive play. That's number 75. And his name is Jeff Mentink. Big play for Baldwin-Woodville. That'll set up 4th down.
The first time they ran that quick pitch, they caught the tackle slanting inside. Now the tackle is sitting and reading, and as soon as he reads that tackle pull, he's following that tackle right now. Good speed, quick enough to pull the back down from behind. Nice defensive play.
Now on 4th and 6, Mayville at the Baldwin-Woodville 29 is going to go for it. 4th and 6. Gassner throwing. Through the hands of Colleen, incomplete. Gilbertson could have had an interception, but why bother? Because Baldwin-Woodville will get the ball on downs from Mayville. 5:15 left, 3rd quarter. From our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our statewide sponsors, Marshfield Clinic and the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. This is the WIAA State Football Network. If you are the Baldwin-Woodville Hawks, you go, whew, dodged another bullet, huh?
Well, again, I have to go back to how impressed I am about both of these teams, how well coached they are, how well they're playing. Fundamentally, they're extremely sound. Strategy-wise, they're doing just a marvelous job, both coaching staffs. And it's great to see a game. I don't think this game is going to be decided until the last play.
Yeah, well, and you tell people, oh, the game's 7-0 in the 3rd quarter. They go, oh, gee, another boring 7-0 game, but that's far from the truth.
Just outstanding football game.
Okay, so Baldwin-Woodville, when play resumes with 5:15 left in this quarter, will have the ball on their own 29-yard line. Again, Baldwin-Woodville not able to move it on its first possession, but we'll see how the second possession of the half goes. As it gets a little darker here at Camp Randall, the lights starting to take more and more of an effect. And here comes Craig Butler leading the Baldwin-Woodville offense. The Hawks need to get something going here. The give is to Tim Gilbertson. He gets away from one tackle before Jeremy Schroffnagel puts him down at the 31-yard line. It'll be a gain of about 2 yards, setting up 2nd and 8.
That time, Baldwin-Woodville came back with that inside counter to the slot back, and once again, Mayville had penetration that time to stop the play for a short gain.
7-0 Mayville. Bienendahl in motion. Chad Bienendahl. Quick opener across the middle to Mike Feedy, but Gassner was able to make the hit. The pass is a little high. He didn't have much of a chance to get it anyway, but Gassner just made sure by hitting him. So it'll be third down.
Craig Butler's been having problems all day. He's just throwing the ball a little bit high, and it's floating on him. If he can bring that ball down, he's going to be much more successful. He's on target, but just a little bit high.
Setting up the screen. Yep. And it's complete to Jason Sell. He's going to be short of the first down, though. Short by about 1.5 yards. Well, the play set up all right. It looked like it may go somewhere, but again, Mayville able to recover nicely and stop him short of the first down. They did gain about 6 yards on it.
Mayville's linebackers did a nice job reacting to that. Baldwin-Woodville has got just quite a repertoire of plays.
Boy, I guess.
We've seen it all.
And they're going to go for it here on 4th and 1.5 yards. Big play here. 3:55 left, third quarter. And they're going to throw. Butler has an option. He'll run it. He'll get the first down. Boy, what a gutsy play by Craig Butler. And what a good call to give him the options.
Yeah, that was an excellent call. There was a nice job that time by the backs blocking the defensive end, and then he just had to read that monster or cornerback to determine whether or not he was going to play the receiver, and he played the receiver, and he took advantage of it for the first down.
Butler passing today 9 of 24 for 70 yards and 4 interceptions, but he converts a big 4th down play there. So Baldwin-Woodville starts it again. Butler pitching. Sell is run out of bounds on the far side at about the 42-yard line. Butler with 5 attempts, 17 yards rushing, but 3 very big yards rushing right there. Clock stops with 3:40 left in the third quarter.
Mayville again comes back with a outstanding defense. They had the option covered, the quarterback covered, and the pitchback.
Think those fans are getting cold out there?
The coaches and the fans, toughest job.
No thanks.
Not everyone has a heater near their feet.
Yeah, that's right. Here's the pitch to Veenendahl. He slips, but he's finished off by Colin Gassner, number 10. And it's going to be a loss on the play of about 1 yard as Colin Gassner, the 6-foot sophomore, comes in to make the stop. I'm just amazed at how many sophomores and even freshmen we see these days that are really good football players.
I think that's indicative of the youth programs that exist in the various communities throughout the state. Some of these players, even though they're just in 9th or 10th grade, are really in their 3rd, 4th, or 5th year of...
Butler's looking deep, and that's going to be way beyond Mike Feedy as they had a 3rd and 11 play, and they decided to go deep, and Butler again overthrowing his intended receiver.
In the zone coverages that are being used by Mayville, I think it's going to be very difficult to free somebody deep on a base, even on a play-action pass. The defensive backs are very disciplined. They know what they're doing.
Scott Newton to punt. Deep for Mayville is 21, Dan Decker.
Got a return on here.
And Decker's going to return it. He gets by one defender. Fumbles the football. Baldwin-Woodville had it initially. Let's see if they kept it. The Hawks say they do, but no official signal yet. And yes.
Number 80.
Number 80 for Baldwin-Woodville. Mike Feedy with the recovery. Well, if you can't get it by passing, you might as well punt it and hope for a fumble, huh? Wow. Another turnover. Yep, Feedy just stuck in there, stuck his nose in the pile and comes away with it. So, new life for Baldwin-Woodville. Again, they only trail 7-0, and they have the ball in Mayville territory now at the 43. Butler to Veenendahl, and again he runs into the big defensive line of Mayville, and doggone, Brandon McSorley has had a good day too.
Outstanding. The junior tackle, and he's played, he has just played outstanding both on, I mentioned this before, on both sides of the ball.
Wow, who'd have thought 9 turnovers in a state championship game, but sometimes that happens. Under 2 minutes now in the third quarter. 2nd and 9 for the Hawks. Butler throwing, complete, no. Beatty had both hands on it, but then he was hit and the ball went into the net. There's Colin Gassner again. 3rd down.
Baldwin-Woodville, I think, has decided they've got to put the ball up. They're not going to be able to rush for big yards. And Mayville is doing a good job of countering that.
Oh, how many times have we said 3rd down for Baldwin-Woodville today, huh? Chad Vienendahl, 11 carries, 6 yards today.
Spread formation.
Butler goes deep. Underthrows, intercepted. Nope. Bounced on the turf. It looked as though Chad Christian had the interception, but the ball bounced just short of him. So it's incomplete, and that'll be 4th down for Baldwin-Woodville. Again, the drive stalls inside Mayville territory at the 42. Unless they go for it. Nope, we see the punter in there, Scott Newton, number 40.
Baldwin-Woodville's got to play field position here. Put Mayville back in a deep situation, and again hope for another turnover and get another opportunity in good field position.
Kick is a pretty good one, kind of a line drive, and it's caught by Dan Decker, who hands it off, or faked the handoff. Okay, we're going to take another look at the incomplete pass on 3rd down here. Did he catch it or didn't he? Chad Christian.
No.
Nope. Good call. And nice camera work as well. Cold camera work out there, I'd imagine, on that end zone camera, huh? When the wind comes whipping out of the north. But a great call by the officials. The handoff goes to Hilber. Nope, that's Boudon. Jeremy Boudon in the backfield. A short gain, 2nd and 7 for Mayville as time winding down here in the third quarter. We hit the 1 minute mark.
I think Scott Hilber's ankle might be a little bit more serious than we thought earlier. See him sitting on the...
He's on the table, on the trainer's table again, yeah. 2nd and 7 at the 20. The give is to Christian. Oh, nice defensive play there. Brian Nadeau.
Mayville trying their buck sweep to the wide side of the field, and again, just penetration and getting inside of the blockers.
On 3rd and 9, Brian Klieger and Rich Cordes into the Mayville lineup again. And 36, Jeremy Boudon still in the backfield as Hilber stays on the bench. There's the handoff to Brian Klieger. He's going to run out of room as the third quarter runs out. So when we return for the fourth quarter, it'll be 4th down for the Mayville Cardinals. For our commercial stations along the line, time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Seems like we haven't had a touchdown in about a year, but but that's okay. It's been a great game.
It's a defensive football game, but in watching, observing the Baldwin-Woodville defensive backs, they're keying on their receivers, and as soon as they see block, they're coming up, particularly in the sweeps. And in both of these sweeps they've run, the strong safety has been able to penetrate and stop for actually no yards.
Now,
or minus yards.
Yeah, Scott Hilber of Mayville, number 32, is off the bench now. He's back in the offensive huddle on the sideline there. You see him, number 32, but you see him also bending around trying to loosen up that ankle. How important is it for him to be in there? Obviously, he's a great football player, but if he can't go, you still have some pretty good people too.
Yeah, I don't think Mayville's at risk. I think he's been their key ball carrier, but with some of the other individuals that we've seen carrying the ball today, I'm I'm sure that Mayville could be very successful without Scott, although he's their man this year. 1,400 yards worth.
I guess. It was a very defensive third quarter, we might say. Mayville, 12 rushes, 36 yards in that third quarter, 36 total yards. Baldwin-Woodville, 19 total yards, 7 rushes, 13 yards. They completed 1 pass for 6. So defense continues to be the name of the game. 9 turnovers between the two teams. Mayville with 5, Baldwin-Woodville with 4. But the Cardinals still hang on to that 7-0 lead. We go way back to the first quarter. Chad Christian's 57-yard touchdown run, the only score of the game. Now, in punt formation, Colin Gassner waiting for the snap.
They got a block on.
Gassner gets it off, though, and it's taken. Baldwin-Woodville's Bart Koyman with a fine return, picking his way through the Mayville defenders.
22-yard line.
Down to the 22. So, again, Baldwin-Woodville sets up shop in great shape at the 22-yard line of Mayville. Maybe this will be the time the Hawks can push it in.
Well, they're knocking on the door. They continue to come back, and that's impressive, and just as impressive as Mayville, because Mayville now has their backs at the wall once again.
Boy, great job by Koyman to break the tackle of Rich Cordes.
Well, the key on a punt return is catching the ball in the air, and he did. He caught the ball in the air and then headed upfield, and a couple of the defenders just overran him.
This is the 6th time this game that Baldwin-Woodville has started a possession in Mayville territory. And before the play starts, it's a delay of game call. Too much time. So that'll cost Baldwin-Woodville 5 yards. That'll be 1st and 15. Now's when you really have to keep composure, right?
Baldwin-Woodville came out in a trips formation, 3 receivers to one side. I think they wanted to surprise Mayville again, and let's see if they return to that same formation. Yep, we have a trips formation to the wide side, and they're going to throw on first down.
From the 27. Butler to pass. Over the middle, a man is open. He doesn't see him. He's chased out of the pocket by McSorley, and Butler is going to make a couple of yards, but not much. Tim Gilbertson that time was pretty wide open as he cut across the middle, but good defensive pressure didn't allow Butler to get the pass off.
Again, the secondary of Mayville, I'm sure they practice against the pass patterns of Baldwin-Woodville and are anticipating that. And that, along with the pressure that's being applied by the defensive line and ends, is really creating problems for Baldwin-Woodville.
Brian Colleen on that last tackle again, 2nd and 13. And Butler will try it again. This time he swings it out to the far side. It's Brian Nadeau. He's inside the 10, inside the 5. Big play for Baldwin-Woodville. Now they're in serious scoring position.
Nice play selection. Roll to the right. The receiver stepped upfield, came back, and picked up a couple blockers. Actually, that's a type of a screen, quick screen it's called, and worked it very well.
Dan Decker saved the touchdown for Mayville, but Baldwin-Woodville has it at the 4-yard line with 10 minutes left. Nadeau with 2 catches for 26 yards. The give is to Jason Sell. He pounds it inside the 3 to the 2.
The next 2 yards would be the big yards.
Well, and Mayville just put in good old number 77, Dave Lobb, 6'3", 315 too, so you're right, they won't be easy.
Well, even on that series, though, I was amazing for the size of that Baldwin-Woodville line. They had a surge and picked up 2 nice yards.
2nd down. Vienendahl, he's in. Touchdown, Baldwin-Woodville. Well, Chad Vienendahl hasn't had many yards today, but those are 2 real big ones right there.
Again, the value of the kicking game, that punt return, a nice pass, quick screen, and now you kick.
But it looked as though Wade Lebecki was going 2 fingers. Maybe that's some sort of snap count or something. I don't know. But I think, okay, it's 7-6 Mayville with 9:24 left, and doggone if they aren't going for 2 to take the lead. 7-6 Mayville. Butler. Throwing. Complete. Ryan Nadeau. 2-point conversion. Well.
Great call. Great call.
What a difference a drive makes. We were stuck at 7-0 from the first quarter, but now Baldwin-Woodville has taken the lead with 9:24 left. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Well, as good a defense as Mayville has, they did a great job to keep Baldwin-Woodville out of the end zone for so long, but any team, especially a great team like Baldwin-Woodville, is going to convert eventually.
Exactly, and they execute so well. And, you know, the amazing thing is that they've got I mentioned earlier, a repertoire of different plays, and everything is executed so well. Interesting call on the extra point conversion. They've already, evidently, their game plan was, we score, we're behind by 1, we're going to go for it. And
well, I suppose they figure they won't get many scores. Huh?
Nice call.
Yeah.
They went to the trips formation again and took their inside receiver, brought their 2 wide receivers across, cleared it out, and he was wide open.
So Baldwin-Woodville, for the first time today, has the lead. Chad Veenendaal's 2-yard touchdown run and a Craig Butler to Brian Nadeau 2-point conversion has Baldwin-Woodville out to an 8-7 lead over Mayville with 9:24 remaining in the fourth quarter. And gosh, that's an awful long time yet to remain in this game. A lot can happen.
It's a long time for Baldwin-Woodville. It's not enough time for Mayville.
Right. So Dustin Veenendaal will kick off for Baldwin-Woodville. Looks like number 20, Brian Klieger, is the deep man in the center for Mayville, but it goes to number 21, Dan Decker. Decker starts back. Up to the 35.
Nice
Good return for Decker.
Baldwin-Woodville kicked from the hash mark and kicked it.
Here's the score from Chad Veenendaal over the left side to make it 7-6. And then we're going to take a look at the 2-point conversion, if time allows, and it does. Butler.
Sprint out to the left.
To Brian Nadeau, wide open. Back to live action. The handoff to Rich Cordes. He has a hole. He's across the 45-yard line. A nice gain and probably a first down for Mayville. Yes, it is. Rich Cordes getting the first down carry. And Hilber is in the lineup, number 32 for Mayville. Nice short scoring drive. Takes almost 2.5 minutes off the clock for Baldwin-Woodville. You can see a little more spring in their step now, too, after finally getting into the end zone.
See if Mayville can turn around the momentum.
Gassner hands to Hilber. He'll get about... oh, he fumbled the ball, but it's recovered. Number 84, Chris Wendler of Mayville, right there to get it. And obviously that's the last thing Mayville needs now is a turnover. They have 5 today. 8:19 left, fourth quarter. 8-7 Baldwin-Woodville with the lead, but Mayville with the ball and starting to put together a bit of a drive. Kyle Gassner. Oh, a collision in the backfield. Gassner still has him. He's going to lose yardage.
There again, you had both linebackers blitzed. As soon as the guards pulled, you had 2 people in the backfield and creating problems. And Gassner, of course, had to take it by himself and loses yardage, loses 5 yards.
So quickly, it's 3rd down and 11 at the 44. Clock stops with 7:58 left.
Interesting that size versus quickness is giving us an awfully good football game because of looking at the different strategies being involved.
Cordes in motion. He's there to block. Gassner deep. Colleen is there. the defender slipped, and Colleen was able to get about a 20-yard reception, and then he fumbled the ball, and Baldwin-Woodville comes away with it. Ken Dykehouse somehow gets
like
the ball.
They took it away from Colleen. Let's see if we can get a replay on that.
The officials are still talking with the Mayville team, and they're going to give it to Baldwin-Woodville. Let's take a look.
It looked like the defensive back actually right there. He's taking it right away from him.
Oh, man. Dykehouse
He just went right to the ball.
with a steal.
That's aggressive football. That's coached. Right there. Good hit. Right there. And now, give me the ball.
How about that? Oh, Baldwin-Woodville with a big turnover. And Veenendahl carries the ball, and they get about 3 with 7:40 left. Yeah, that won't work every time, right? But
no, but I think
it's a good thing to do.
Those are things that are taught. You strip the ball from the receiver if you have an opportunity, and he was able to do it.
Now Baldwin-Woodville wants that clock to run. They hand off to Veenendahl again. He veers to the outside, but right there is Hilber to make the tackle, and a flag goes down. Holding Baldwin-Woodville. The clock stops with 7:14 left. Boy, we have had 2 great football games so far today. And another one coming up tonight as Monroe faces Kaukauna in Division II.
You know, it's a shame. This is a real cliche, but it's a shame that one of the teams has to lose, because it's just been such an outstanding football game.
It's funny how nobody wants you to say cliches, but they're always true.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, you know, when what it takes to get to the state finals, first of all, and the dedication and the sacrifice, all of those things combined, you just want every kid out there to be a winner.
2nd and 17, Baldwin-Woodville from its own 30. The handoff goes to Chad Veenendahl, trying to get outside, gets by Gassner, but he won't get by Schroffnagel and Dan Decker. 3rd and long for Baldwin-Woodville. The clock continues to run, though. 6:40 left.
Notice Baldwin-Woodville, let's see what they do now, if they put the ball up or if they go back to that quick screen again.
By the way, Chad Veenendahl is the defending 130-pound state wrestling champion.
He's tough.
Yeah, he can play forever, I'd imagine. The give is to Veenendahl, trying to get some yardage, but it won't happen. And that will make Baldwin-Woodville punt it away on 4th and long.
They're electing, again, to play conservative, as Coach Hilber had done earlier in this kind of a situation, protecting that lead, and now hoping a good punt will give the defense a chance to go to work again.
Scott Newton again to punt for Baldwin-Woodville. Nice kick. Decker has it at the 30. He'll get to the 34, but he's sandwiched. The 2 Veenendahls, Dustin and Chad, the cousins, converge to take down Decker.
They're the 2 outside blockers, and they release, and they're down. Just great coverage. Surprising, Mayville didn't do a little bit more to try to hold up those first men coming down and give their punt return a little bit more of an opportunity.
Well, every possession is so valuable now. If you're Mayville, you'll get at least, well, you maybe get 2 from here on in, but you want to get this one down the field. And
they got plenty of time. But
yeah, plenty of time.
They've got to become consistent.
They give it to Colin Gassner, who throws it right into the hands of Tim Gilbertson.
A big play.
And Gilbertson takes it to the 32-yard line. That time, it was Kyle Gassner handing off to Colin Gassner, and Colin was looking for Ryan Colleen downfield, but he missed him by a
Colleen
body.
Colleen was open, and I think Gassner, maybe the ball slipped.
Well, see, there was a little collision. I don't know how much that affected the pass, but
somebody
still.
Grabbed his arm as he was throwing, too.
Yeah, but right to Tim Gilbertson, who took it to the 31-yard line. And my, how this game has changed in the last 5 minutes. Baldwin-Woodville with the ball and the lead thanks to 7 Mayville turnovers. The handoff to Wienendahl again. Nope. Outside, inside the 20, almost to the 25, I should say.
They came back with a trap option, which is, again, a basic part of their offense. Faking the trap inside, coming outside, and being able to pick up nice yardage on first down.
Clock continues to roll, 4:48. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 7, make it. The handoff to Sell. He has an opening inside the 20.
There's that counter trap again.
Jason Sell, the 6-foot, 210-pound sophomore.
The adrenaline is flowing in with the Baldwin-Woodville kids. They're just coming off the ball right now like they own the line of scrimmage.
This telecast is authorized under rights granted by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and Wisconsin Public Television. Is intended solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the description and accounts of this game without the express written permission of the WIAA and Wisconsin Public Television is strictly prohibited. The handoff to Chad Wienendahl. Short yardage inside the 15. Jason Sell with that last carry, 10 rushes, 37 yards. So not big yards for Baldwin-Woodville statistically, but they've been able to get them at the right times. And one score is in the book, and now they're marching toward another potential score at the 13-yard line. 2nd and 7. 3:48 left.
Come back with that counter trap again, where they got split backs and they fake the one, give to the other, and that's been has become a very big play the second half, and it gives an opportunity for a smaller man to block somebody. That time the linebacker stepped up.
Jeremy Boudin, 36, and Jason Mookie, number 74, teaming up on that stop. 3rd and 7 now. .310 left. Butler rolls left, throws it behind Sell, almost intercepted. The ball was behind Jason Sell, and Scott Hilber had a look at it, but was not able to intercept it. And so now it's 4th down and 7 from the 13 with 3:01 left.
That was a good play selection, and again, quarterback has just been a little bit off in his ability to be able to hit that open man.
This is Dustin Wienendahl with a 30-yard field goal attempt. It's long enough, and it's good.
They can kick too.
Justin Wienendahl with a 30-yard field goal to add to the Baldwin-Woodville lead to 11-7. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our statewide sponsors, Marshfield Clinic and the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. This is the WIAA State Football Network. I don't know. Let's see. We're checking some field goal stats here. I doubt if Baldwin-Woodville has tried many field goals this year. However, that was a big one. Instead of 8-7, it's now 11-7. So
they've got to score a touchdown.
Mayville must get a touchdown. That's right. Right now, 2:56 remaining in regulation time in the 4th quarter. There you see Wade Lebecki trying to get his troops fired up. Well, shoot, he doesn't have to worry about them being fired up now. They're up 11-7.
I think Mayville, as successful as they have been, believes that they can get it, that they can do it, and it's a matter now of execution. Baldwin-Woodville on the other side is right now our defense has to save this game for us. I mean, and so whether or not Mayville can come through and put that 2-minute drill in action, well, 3-minute drill, 2:56 left. generally a wing T team is not generally a passing team, but oftentimes you'll go into a spread formation and give yourself 3 receivers and 1 setback and an opportunity to get more receivers in the flow of the pass offense.
Ryan Klieger, number 20. Number 21 is Dan Decker, deep, and as well as number 22, Rich Cordes for Mayville. And boy, could it happen to Mayville again 2 years in a row, a tough loss in the Division IV championship? Well, the Cardinals still have a shot. The kickoff goes to Dan Decker. He has some room again, out to the 34-yard line again, just like the last return. And that's where Mayville starts the drive, 2:51 left. Alex Hilber's team trying to drive 66 yards for what would be the winning touchdown, you would think. But that's a long way against this Baldwin-Woodville defense.
He's staying in his wing T tight formation.
Kyle Gassner, the quarterback.
Belly pass.
He's throwing. Incomplete. Ken Dykehouse, the defender, intended for Brian Colleen. 2nd down.
Great job of in the defensive secondary as he nice try for the reception, but great job of defense.
So 2nd and 10 for Mayville with 2:34 left. Baldwin-Woodville leading Mayville 11-7, Division IV state championship. Gassner back to pass again. He's throwing deep. Intercepted. Bart Koyman. And a penalty marker is down. Hold everything. Did they hit the quarterback late?
Well, I don't think so,
Oh, no.
because actually they hit him as he was throwing, and I think that was the reason it was intercepted again.
Koyman intercepted at the 48. But there's a discussion going on. Nope,
Holding.
You're right.
Okay.
Holding on Mayville. Another turnover, number 8 today for the Cardinals. Here you see it again. Maybe we can pick up the hold somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
you're
he
right.
was.
Yeah. Again, they're looking for Colleen, but Bart Koyman with a big interception now with 2:28 left. Baldwin-Woodville wants to run some clock. Kyle Gassner passing 1 for 6 today for 20 yards and an interception. Colin Gassner 0 for 1 with an interception.
It's
Mayville leading in the turnover category, but they sure don't want that to happen.
turnovers are the undoing of any football team. At any level, I mean, you just can't turn the ball over, and I'm sure that Alex Hilber right now is just trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And what has happened, because you turned the ball over, I think, maybe 20 times in the course of 12 ball games. Now suddenly you have this type of thing happen. And I know as a coach, you seven or even 4 or 5, you turn the ball over to the other team, and you're taking away your opportunities to move the ball and score. So, but you got to give credit to the defense. Baldwin-Woodville has been pressuring Gassner all day, every time he set up. Penetration has been the key to their defense, and when I talked to Coach Lebecki earlier in the week, he felt that that was going to be a key part to their quickness with their linebackers and stunts in the line, and being able to take advantage of that quickness. And certainly it's looking that, if you remember before the game, I said a group of 180 pounders that are good football players can overcome that size factor, and up to this point the game is far from over, but Baldwin-Woodville has really been able to play an outstanding game of football. They've been extreme persistent, they just keep coming back.
And more football to come. 7 o'clock tonight, the Division II championship, Monroe against Kokona. Mayville took a timeout there. The Cardinals with 2 timeouts remaining. 2:09 left. It's 2nd and 8. Baldwin-Woodville as they hand the ball inside to Jason Zell. The clock will continue to run, or does Mayville use another timeout? .203 left. Yes, Mayville does use another timeout. 1 remaining. Craig Butler today, 10 of 30 passing for Baldwin-Woodville, 91 yards, 4 interceptions, but no interceptions in this half. So he's really been able to control things a little bit better. That's right, they don't have a turnover this half, do they?
That's an important part. That's a real important statistic. But what the play selection has been, in other words, when they went into halftime, their play selection has been a little bit different. They're not throwing the ball down the middle. That extra defensive back created those turnovers to a certain degree for Mayville earlier in the first half. This half, they've gone to some different plays, particularly the quick screen earlier, and most of their passes are sideline passes.
Mayville needs a stop. It's 3rd and 5 at the 43 with 2:03 left. And Butler keeps it, throws it, incomplete. And a penalty marker goes down. Baldwin-Woodville's pretty excited about it, and they're going to call interference on Mayville, it appears. Dustin Wienendahl was the intended receiver, but they're going to get a Mayville defender for hitting him early. Well, that's a
seems
huge
that
play.
Mayville's having a hard time, a difficult time, no matter what they're doing. They're making mistakes. They're pressing.
You see the hand in the back. 33 is Chad Christian. And you can't argue with the call. It's an unfortunate one for Mayville, nevertheless. Now it's getting tough. 1:57 left. 11-7 Baldwin-Woodville with the lead and the ball. Now at the Mayville 28-yard line.
And a first down.
And a first down, correct.
Right now, Baldwin-Woodville just has to secure the football.
Mayville with 1 timeout remaining. Sell up the middle. Stop there by Noel Feckheim, number 30. And the clock continues to run. 1:43 left.
They're also in good field position, so even if they do run the clock down, they may turn it over and on fourth. They like to run it on 4th down. If they don't get the first down, Mayville still has 80 yards to go.
2nd and 10 at the 28. The sneak by Butler. He's still going inside the 25, and now Mayville will use its last timeout. So with 1:14 left, the clock will continue to run. However, Mayville still has a chance of getting the ball back. Obviously, they have to stop here on 3rd and 7. But if they do stop, they'll get the ball with, well, depending on what Baldwin-Woodville does, of course. But it's looking tough for Mayville right now.
This is one of those situations, though, in a high school game with the caliber of talent that you see on both sides. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it happened to Mayville last year just before the half against Stanley Boyd. I mean, they were in control of the game, up 14-0, and
it turned around.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stanley Boyd hits a big one, and that really changed the whole complexion. But the last 10 minutes of the 4th quarter have certainly been
all
great minutes for Baldwin-Woodville. After missing so many chances earlier in the game, and then finally hitting on one and then hitting the field goal, which,
I go back to the persistence. We saw that during the first half also. They just kept coming back, and finally paid off.
Okay, 3rd and 7, minute 14 left. The handoff goes to Tim Gilbertson. He's stacked up. McSorley there, 72. Decker, 21. As well as Jeremy Schroffnagel.
Another inside counter, which is a conservative play with a trap power block on the outside, and they get short yardage, but it did use some time.
And 4th and 6, Baldwin-Woodville just wants to take some more time off that clock. They're going to go for it. They need 6 yards for a first down, but Mayville hoping to get the ball back. They may take a delay. No. Rolling, tipped, the pass incomplete. So, with 31 seconds left, Mayville gets the ball on its own 24-yard line. Mayville will have to go 76 yards in 31 seconds. The two coaches, Alex Hilbert and Wade
Woodville is
Lebecki.
going to play going to drop their defensive backs. Linebackers are deep.
They're going to hand it off to, is that Christian inside? It's tackled for a loss. They tried to go with Chad Christian on a play that worked earlier, but a great defensive play by Baldwin-Woodville. Now there's 15 seconds left. 2nd and 13. The down doesn't mean much now. Mayville needs yards. Gassner hit as he throws. Incomplete. The arm was in motion.
3 seconds.
That's like a fire drill now. People flying all over the place. Well, if you've got a...
That's amazing how the Baldwin-Woodville team has been able to, defensive line, linebackers have been able to penetrate.
Chad Christian, after that big 57-yard touchdown run, has carried the ball 3 times for 2 yards, minus 2 yards. Well, do you have a 79-yard play in your book here?
You hope you do.
Yeah.
If you're Coach Hillman.
Okay, here it is. The state championship is on the line. Baldwin-Woodville leading 11-7. Mayville's last chance. The hand to Christian. He's tackled. That's the ball game. Baldwin-Woodville, state champions.
Great football game. My heart goes out to Coach Alex Hilber, but I'll tell you, his team played extremely well. Coach Wade Lebecki and his staff, sincere congratulations.
5 years ago, Baldwin-Woodville won the state championship. 1992, the Hawks take home another gold trophy. For our commercial stations along the line, it's time to hear from our local sponsors. This is the WIAA State Football Network. Well, obvious celebration on the side of Baldwin-Woodville, but boy, if you're Mayville, 2 great years back-to-back, you get to the finals and you lose 2 awfully tough games.
I think the positives is that they had a great season. They came up here and had one of those games where you start turning the ball over and it starts to snowball on you. And
yeah, they're going to be sitting.
It's hard to figure out why that happens. I mean, when you fumble 15 times in the entire course of the season, and then something like this happens, and sometimes there's a game. Sometimes in the game of football, things happen that you really can't explain, and I think that might be one of them.
Well, they're going to be sitting around their living rooms this summer, and they'll just get in their heads like, how did that happen to us, huh?
As a coach, yeah, you tear that apart.
Yeah, they're going to be sitting around this summer just wondering what hit them.
Well, again, my heart goes out to all the players. They just did a great job. I'm impressed by both coaching staffs and the players on both sides. Turnovers was the difference. Kicking game was the difference. That punt return that set up that initial touchdown for Baldwin-Woodville. Going for 2 points. I guess Baldwin-Woodville came up here with one thing in mind. That was to win the championship.
Yeah.
And they did it.
Well, and I think a lot of us who aren't coaches are fooled sometimes when you see the big right side of Mayville. You think, how in the world can these guys who are so small in comparison handle these guys? But it took a while, but it happened.
Well, early in the second half, when Mayville came out and they were controlling the ball and they were running the belly play and actually driving the Baldwin-Woodville line back like 5-6 yards. But it didn't last long. Baldwin-Woodville stayed with that slanting, slashing type of defense, and tremendous.
11-7, Baldwin-Woodville, the state champions in Division 4. Now let's go to the award ceremony with public address announcer Jack Rain.
And the coach of the Division 4 runners-up from Mayville, Alex Hilber. Captains Chris Corrigan, Chad Bienendahl, and Craig Butler of Division 4 champions Baldwin-Woodville. Please come to the awards table. And the coach of the 1992 Division 4 state champions from Baldwin-Woodville, Wade LeBecki.
So Baldwin-Woodville completes a 12-1 season. Mayville its first loss after winning its first 12 games, 11-7. Baldwin-Woodville, the 1992 Division 4 state champions. More thoughts on the game, Bill? Are you surprised?
No, I'm not. I mentioned earlier that quickness, particularly at the high school level, quickness and strength and sound coaching can overcome size. And I think you saw that today. And even though Mayville had tremendous success throughout the course of the year, today, by putting the ball in the ground and making as many mistakes as they did, they just took themselves out of the opportunity to win the game.
How much might the artificial turf enhance that quickness? Is that a factor that's overrated, or how do you think that might have played today?
I think a quick team on artificial turf is definitely an advantage, particularly in a day like today. Mm-hmm. If it had been a natural field, the size would have been a bigger factor. But there's no question that the play select, the entire offense, and the way it was executed by Baldwin-Woodville, their quickness, they were able to move the ball.
Yeah.
Not all the time,
yeah,
but they moved it when they had to.
But when it counted in the fourth quarter, and joining us now on the field is Baldwin-Woodville's head coach, Wade LeBecki. Wade, congratulations on your state championship. Did you think you'd ever get the ball in the end zone for a touchdown?
Well, we were down there early in the first half and that, and we just couldn't convert, and it was kind of upsetting because we were down there twice inside the 20 and didn't convert. But our kids at halftime, we told them, hey, just stick with it. Don't get your heads down. We'll be able to move the ball. It kind of hurt us at first. With the penalty at halftime. I didn't realize that we were out of time, and we come down there, and that hurt us. And then right away we gave them some yardage. So,
Coach, did you make any adjustments at halftime offensively against that 5 defensive backs that they were using?
Yeah, we just tried to catch the football because we didn't do a very good job of that the first half. And Brian Nadeau really did a nice job, and Butler got the ball to him. That was our basic thing, concentration and cut down on the turnovers.
We talked a lot about your quickness versus their size. How were you able to overcome their big people, especially on the right side of their line?
I think the key was the second half. As the half was winding down, their big guys seemed to get a little bit more tired, and that's the thing that we told them at halftime. Stick with it. So our guys, I guess, with the quickness, we just wanted to get them tired because we're in shape.
Well, it sure worked. You're a genius. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Coach. Great game.
Thank you.
All right, Wade LeBecki, the winning head coach of Baldwin-Woodville. And no highlights, is that correct? We're going to say goodbye. For Bill Bartholomew, I'm Jay Wilson. Thanks for being with us here for the Division 4 championship game on the WIAA State Tournament Network.
The 1992 WIAA Football Championships are made possible in part by a grant from the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association.